Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a blue collar wine show where we try to make you comfortable about the subject of wine and comfortable about your palate. Get rid of all that snobby wine stuff. We're just getting real about wine. Today I'm kind of excited because Columbia Winery sent me some samples of their new package that they're sending out on the market. For those of you who don't know, Columbia and Covey Run was bought by Gallo, and we're all familiar with Gallo. And I don't have a problem with that. You know, Gallo's a big company. They like to expand their horizons, look out to different areas, and there's a lot of California wineries that are actually trying to move up to Washington, get a foothold in Washington State. I know that Duckhorn Vineyards was trying to bid on some land on Red Mountain. So they're interested in Washington. They want to get their foothold up here, kind of dabble in some of the winemaking up in this area, which is exciting. I mean, Washington State, second leading producer of wine in the United States behind California. And so Washington is a player in the wine market. We've known that for a long time. Now more and more of the world is recognizing the value of wines from the state of Washington. So Columbia, first of all, Gallo revamped the line. They had Columbia had two basically lines, Covey Run and Columbia, and they were both fairly inexpensive wines. It was kind of like they had two budget wines. Now, we don't mind that as consumers. We kind of like that. But originally, when David Lake was a key player in Columbia Winery, he passed away about 4 years ago, iconic winemaker in the state of Washington. David Lake had some upper-end red wines. Well, eventually it got down to just a few. They had a Syrah, Cab, or Merlot, Chardonnay, and they were all in the $10 range. Well, Gallo comes in, they want to kind of revamp it. Now they have a Covey Run as their budget wines, all running about $8. And now they've reintroduced, they're going to reintroduce onto the market. These aren't out there yet. So this is kind of exciting. Get to try them before a lot of other folks do. They're coming out with this new line. Now I want to show you, and the thing that excited me the most about this is the marketing part of it. I thought they scored big time in marketing. Here is the old label, and I'm going to move some things around here for you so you can see this. Get the glass out of the way. This is their old label. Now a lot of you are familiar with this label, the Columbia Winery label. Does that look familiar to you guys? Yeah. We've seen that a lot. We've gotten used to it. But look what they've done. I think this is a great job. Shout out to the guys who came up with this label. I love it. So this is the new Columbia label. Isn't that crazy? Love that label. There you go. Well, as we all know, the label can be fantastic, but what about the wine? So join me as I go through these 4 wines from the revamped Columbia label. They have a winemaker who's been with the winery now for a couple of years, Sean Hales. I am not familiar with him, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with their wines. We're going to start off with the 2012 Columbia Valley Chardonnay from Columbia Winery. I'll give you a shot of the label here again. I'm very excited, kind of a painted C on Columbia. Nice work, guys. Good job. At least on the packaging. So let's see what we get with the Chardonnay. What do we get on the nose? Well, immediately, oh, there's smoke there. Got the oak right off the bat. No, don't have a problem with that. I'm getting a lot of tropical fruit notes. I get a lot of pineapple, which I like. It's a good nose, actually. Get a little pear in the back end, a little bit of dustiness. Get just a hint of Asian, a little spiciness going on. Very nice. I like the nose on this. Let's see what we get on the palate. For those of you that like a little bit of oak influence on your Chardonnay, you're going to love this wine. Good play in that area, but it's not over the top. They haven't gone too far with it. It's there, but it doesn't dominate. I get a lot of pear notes, a little bit of a nice crisp apple component that comes through on the mid-palate. Nice lingering finish. Very delicate on the finish. It's not an overpowering Chardonnay. It's not a Rombauer or a ZD or a Merlot Chardonnay by any stretch. You know, I think the Chardonnay will fit into a lot of categories. I think people that want oak will like it. I think people who want a little bit delicate, like apple, pear notes, will like it. It's good balance, nice flow across the palate. It's 2012, which was a great vintage in Washington. Good time to release your wines. And they're going to go roll in at 14 bucks. Now that's not a bad price for a Chardonnay like this. Get a little bit of can't talk today. Get a little bit of sweet fruit on the mid palate. It's a dry wine. It finishes dry. Definitely a dry style Chardonnay. Don't get me wrong. Just a little sweet hit in the mid palate. That's it. This would be a great food Chardonnay. I'm telling you right now, lobster, crab, bowl of noodles with cream sauce. Yeah, it's doing it for me. I like it. Good call. Definitely worth the $14 price tag. I'm going to give this one a B+. Very well made Chardonnay. They say, why didn't you go A-? Well, you know, I mean, let's just stick with B+. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to go with the Cabernet Sauvignon. Let's give it a little rinse. Again, these are all Columbia Valley appellations, so they didn't choose to go with the any vineyard-specific wines, which gives them a little more flexibility in sourcing their fruit. So this is the 2012, again, Columbia Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, Columbia Winery. Just another quick look at the label. I'm just jazzed about this label. And the Chardonnay, I'm excited. The Chardonnay is actually good. I didn't know. All right. Let's see what we're getting on the nose with this one. Okay, right off the bat, I get a lot of fruit, a lot of cherry fruit, currants. A little leather action, I like that. There's just a hint of like a really worn leather. It's kind of like sultry, you know, like the like one of those kind of romantic TV shows that you just kind of get lured into, even though you're not really into that sort of thing. It just kind of plays with you enough plot there that you get that, you're kind of drawn in, and you realize, hey, this is kind of a chick flick, but you know, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I like it. No, that's what I'm getting on the nose. I even get a little black tea component on the back end. There's a little herbaceousness, not a lot, but a little bit. Definitely the currants are starting to come through. Now I opened these about, to be fair to the new Columbia Winery, I opened them about 3 hours ago. I just want to let them breathe, you know, kind of give them a really good shot. And again, after my last episode, I do encourage you to decant your wines. Don't go out and buy some fancy-wancy decanter. I think you saw the one I had that looked like a vase you might put flowers in. One of those, you know. Just throw your wine in there real quick. It'll help it. It'll enhance the experience. Getting a little bit of oak, not a lot. Nice nose. I like it a lot. Let's see what we get on the palate. This has a real old world play to it. You guys reading this as a... don't know if it's 100% cab or not. I don't... Excuse me just a minute. They gave me a spec sheet. I'm just curious what I'm getting on the palate, whether it was a 100% Cabernet or not. Let's see what it says here. Don't mean to make you wait. Oh yeah, I thought it has a 76% Cab, 11% Syrah, 10% Malbec, 3% Merlot. And for those of you that haven't really thought about it, you have to have at least 75% of one grape varietal in there to call it that. But this has a little bit of Syrah. I notice a little bit different on the palate, what you wouldn't expect from a Cabernet. Not loving this one as much on the palate. It's got a real leather component. It's very old school. I think there's a lot of, I know a lot of my guys that like to hang out with the old school stuff, will love this. Very fresh in the mouth. The tannins are very fresh. It's got that leather kind of tobacco component. I get the Syrah. That's why I had to look at the spec sheet, because I was like, oh, this doesn't. Anytime you throw Syrah in a red blend, you know, you always have that Syrah aromas trying to punch through, or the Syrah itself. This is a baby. Right now I'm saying this needs a couple, 3 or 4 more years in bottle. I think that the fruit notes, it's got like this bright cherry little cassis action going on with some underlying currants. A lot of leather, tobacco, a little bit of a herbaceousness that kind of is like a spine through the wine. I like it. I think it needs some more time. I think it's youthful. You have to take that into consideration. Yeah, there's a lot of guys, if you like Bordeaux, especially Bordeaux from the left bank that is predominantly Cab, you're going to like this baby. It's got all that elements in it. It's got like that green tea, green tobacco, all that stuff going on. Fresh tannins. The tannins kind of, you know, pucker your mouth up at the end. Right now, I'm going to go B minus on this one. I think there's a small margin of people that will really love it, and then a lot of you will be going like, I'm not sure. If I sold it to you at the store, I would say, okay, why don't you let this one sit for a couple of years? I think you're going to end up with a great wine. In fact, I'm going to buy a bottle, put it away for a couple of years. Hopefully I'm still doing this show. We'll see where it goes. I think that fruit, that some of those darker underlying fruits need to kind of integrate into the wine. It's very well made, very balanced, definitely a solid. I'm going to go with a B, because I see potential in this. I see it turning into an A- wine. We'll see where it goes. But it's a well-made wine, for sure. Just not sure about some of the elements of it, if that makes any sense to you at all. So out of the way there. Okay, I stuck the cork back in these not too long ago, so now we're going to move on to the Columbia Winery 2012 Merlot, Columbia Valley Appellation. Just take a quick look at these. Actually, all the labels are the same. I really don't need to do this, but there you go. I really do like the label. Hopefully that's the last time I say that. It's like, Stan, just shut up about the label. I'm a huge fan of Washington Merlot. I love it. I think Washington does Merlot as good as the right bank of Bordeaux. Those are fighting words, huh? But yes, Washington Merlot. I'm going to actually do a show on Washington State Merlot. So, let's see what we get on the nose with this baby. Oh, see, now I like that nose. I get a little brown sugar component, currants. I'm just going to see what the blend is on this one. It is. And all these roll in at $14. 85% Merlot, 10% Syrah, 2% Cab, and 3% other. Guess they don't have to tell you, right? The secret recipe. No, definitely deep dark fruit notes. And I get that little brown sugar component. Now, I think there's some wine critics that wouldn't say brown sugar, but that's what you're getting. I like it. It smells good. It smells delicious. You know, it's just one of those wines, like an Amarone, where you put your nose in and you get these big, ripe currants and just real heady aromas. Little tobacco, little perfume action going on. I like it. Let's see what we get on the palate. As soon as that hit my mouth, I'm going, there is going to be a boatload of people that love this wine. Big plush fruit up front. I mean, it's like this, it fills your cavity. I don't get like an alcohol burn, but it feels like there's like some, I gotta see what the alcohol is on this baby. I cannot read it. Oh well, doesn't matter. Big fruit up front. But what I like about this wine is you get that big, like, lush fruit, and then it just kind of, it changes gears across the mid-palate, gets a little bit of that leather, tobacco, and it dries up big time. It like goes from this big plush fruit bomb to this dry wine. But it's never gets awkward. It does it well. Kind of like transitions really well. It goes from 80 to 30, and you hit him in the back end because you didn't really notice, right? You're following him. He's going really fast, and all of a sudden, boom, boom. That's what it's like. You know, ripe currants, a little spiciness, a little like spice box thing. I get like a rose petal violet thing going on. It finishes like with this little grippiness. Like I said, it finishes dry with a little, you know, the tannins are coming through, but yeah. I can tell you right now, this is a delicious wine, but has some serious edge to it. Needs a big slab of meat. Sorry, vegetarians, or a big slab of eggplant with some nice spices on it. No, this is a good Merlot. Just proof that Washington State can do Merlot really well. In fact, I'm not getting a lot of the Syrah out of this. Maybe it's that kind of plush, kind of plummy thing that comes through right before you hit the mid palate. You get this like even maybe a little bit of bacon fat, but not really. It's like, that could be my imagination because I saw there was Syrah in there, but I do get that kind of kind of like softer, plumper feel on the palate. It's a good bottle of wine. I'm telling you right now, $14. I'll be looking for that Merlot. I'm going to take the Cab, put it away for a few years. This Merlot, talking. If you like serious wine, if you like Right Bank, Pomerol wines, you know, look for it. I mean, seriously, well-made job. Good job, Sean. I love the way you spell your name like a true Irishman. S-E-A-N, Sean Hales. I don't know if he's Irish, but he spells it like an Irishman. Now we're going to move on to the Columbia Winery Composition. It's a blend, and it's non-vintage. I looked at this earlier, and I did not see a vintage. So non-vintage, 14. Oh, wait a minute. It says 2012 right back here, but I don't see the vintage on the label. Maybe I'm just missing it. Yeah. Anyway, let's give it a rinse. Yeah, Columbia Winery, I think I read somewhere that they introduced Syrah to the state of Washington. Good for them. David Lake, telling you, iconic. One of the first winemakers that I kind of really fell in love with in the state of Washington. So this is a red blend. Let me get the spec sheet here real quick. See what we have in this blend. It is, ready? 41% Cab, 31% Merlot, 12% Syrah, 9% Malbec, 3% Petit Verdot, and then 4% other, the secret recipe. Let's see what we get on the nose. So far I'm liking this lineup. Cab was the only one I'm kind of like, oh, I'm going to give the Merlot an A. Minus. No, A. I'm going to go with an A. It's well built. Good bottle of wine. Got the chops to drink now, but definitely has enough structure to go 10, 15 years. Easily. I'd love to drink that wine 15 years from now. This one has a little like little chemical, actually not chemical in a bad way, not like the, chemical pharmacy. It just has a little bit of a, I don't know how to put it. I get some red fruit on the nose. Oh, there we go. I got a little licorice going on there. Currants are coming through. Kind of perfumed, like that girly girl soap that you put in your bathtub to make it look pretty, but sometimes you use it. It has that little kind of perfume. I get a little bit of that. I don't like that wet cardboard, but it's not corked. It sneaks through a little bit. Interesting nose. I'm not sure if I would call it a great nose, but it's got some nice elements to it. Not my favorite so far on the nose. Let's see what we get. This one's a lot like that Cab. Very tight. I mean, like tight. Like rock tight. Like, like somebody, a kid getting his first $5 and he does not want to spend it. He just likes looking at it. This is not letting go of anything. I see potential again in this wine. I mean, this baby is tight and dry. I mean, like bone dry. There's tobacco, there's leather, there's definitely minerals. This baby is like somebody crushed some rocks in it. It's tight and tannic, although it's not like super tannic. I mean, I'm not saying it's tannic like, they're closing it up. It is just, because it's not grippy. I don't know how to explain this particular aspect. It's muscle bound. Might be the best way to put it. It's like got these big muscles, you know, it's like that. I'm getting a little bit of, I get some soft fruit notes, like some nice cherry currant on the back end. But man, that thing is bone dry in the finish. It's a youthful wine. It's well made. Don't get me wrong. It's well made. It has potential. And I always wonder sometimes when these guys like Parker and Suckling and those guys go over to do these barrel tastings and then they raid all these Bordeaux's out of the barrel. That's a tough play. I mean, you gotta taste a lot of muscle-bound, tight, big wines that don't show fruit, and then you gotta say, okay, because of this, that, and that is going to do that. Well, I think because of this, that, and that, this one will do that. But again, it's a baby. It has great potential, very old world style. Sean obviously likes, I would say I'm just guessing, I haven't met the guy, but I'm saying he likes Bordeaux. That would be just a wild guess, but these are very Bordeaux-like, very youthful. They are definitely built for food. This guy wants you to go grill a steak, make a stew, do a pot roast, do whatever you do, and have his wines with it. They need food. Just sitting here drinking them, I want a big hunk of cheese. I want a big piece of steak right now. I do. I'm just saying. That's how old world these are. Again, great potential. Right now, it is a little tight. I'm going to give it a B+ because I see great potential in it, and it's actually built a little better than the Cab. So, B+, A-. Great potential in this wine. Sean did a good job. You have to look sometimes at what they're shooting for as winemakers, and I think, I could be wrong, Sean, if you watch this video, let me know on the comments. Make a comment. Let me know if I'm off here. But you definitely like old world style wines. Merlot, edge toward the new world, but what can you do? 2012 grapefruit. And Merlot is a little bit softer, so you're going to get that bigger, fleshier style. Well, good job. I'm impressed. New package change. Excellent job. Wines are well built. Not everybody is going to love them. But just remember, if you're patient, they're going to turn out really nicely. And they made a boatload of this wine, so they're investing a lot into it. And I think, in a couple of years, these wines are going to flesh out really nicely. Thanks for joining me. Looking forward to this weekend. Seahawks are playing the Saints. I'm a little nervous, the Saints are a good team, but I have confidence in my Seahawks. And my prediction, my son got me this new cork thing. It's really cool. But my prediction, if you can read it, I'm terrible with chalk, guys. So, got it. Where are you? Oh, yeah. Seahawks 28, Saints 21. That's my prediction. I'm looking forward to it. You guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And here's to keeping the snob out of wine.